Hello all, I am Brianna Coakley, and this is my presentation on grant funding opportunities and the relevance of community resilience. Grant funding is crucial in preparing communities properly for emergencies and supplying post-disaster resources. The presence and quality of external funds can make a difference in protecting lives and help a community's economic recovery. Just to go over what I'll be discussing today, I will be talking about the importance of having a clear sense of mission. We'll discuss how agencies could use grant funding to improve emergency preparedness in their community. I'll talk about elements of mission mystique that are essential to the grant proposal process and what to do once receiving the funds. And we'll also talk about the importance of grant funding to local emergency management agencies. Jumping right in to discuss the importance of having a clear sense of mission. A clear mission purpose is often a requirement in order to be considered for the grant fund. This is especially accurate with the EDA and their disaster supplemental grant. Resiliency for them also is a huge factor in meeting eligibility standards for receiving this grant. Resilience in a community often means to be able to protect, endure, and recover successfully from any disaster. Some other traits of resiliency consist of having a stable legal framework, having relevant community ordinances, effective plans, local business diversity, and having a reliable infrastructure. The existence of these characteristics must be included in the proposal and in their mission statement. The sense of mission can help stakeholders see if the agency is successful in their attempts, and it's crucial in the review process of these applications. The statement can make a significant difference in deeming a proposal competitive or not. Next, we will go over how agencies can utilize grant funding. Grants can be dispersed into loans for families and local businesses impacted by the disaster. The money can also aid with economic recovery and help to build a more resilient community. Some options specifically emphasized by the EDA. The EDA also offers help with strategic planning and construction efforts in order to alleviate any long-term destruction from the emergency. FEMA, however, grants individuals with legal and counseling services, as well as insurance, medical health care, and unemployment assistance to get back on track and participate in the economy again. Moving on to discussing the mission mystique elements that are imperative to the proposal and grant receipt process. In writing the proposal, the agency would need to exhibit their mission statement clearly, which would include proof of their resiliency as a community. This must include how the funding will support economic development long term. This would also involve a plan how the money can help them reach their intended project outcomes. The agency must also show an urgent need and how the funding would make a significant difference in improving their emergency preparedness in the community. The EDA will thus also require documentation of the community's involvement with the agency mission, making their track record and reputation especially important. The applicant must also have proof of their intrinsically motivated people and show their commitment to learning long term. In completing the proposal, the agency would need to include many similar elements. The agency's mission should be clearly stated and supported. Demonstrating this mission comprehensively shows a need for intrinsic motivation from agency personnel, as does submitting evidence that shows their availability and commitment to the project. The funding should also make a difference in the agency's emergency preparedness, showing a societal need. The proposal should also include evidence of past achievements, handling finances in the past, and their overall reputation within the community. With all the work that's required to submit this proposal, the agency should offer autonomy with its personnel and an opportunity for contestation both internally and externally. It is strongly advised that emergency management agencies consult with appropriate contacts, which is often provided for by the grant funding agency or their stakeholders. This ensures their proposal aligns with priorities and expectations and further proves their commitment to learning and renewal. The proposal must also demonstrate and lend evidence towards the agency's ability to strengthen their economy and their likelihood to see the desired results and the intensity of the impact from the pertinent disaster. If the funding is then received, there are some crucial criteria that must be met by the agency to fulfill the stakeholders' expectations. It is important, again, that intrinsically motivated people are involved in the project in order to carry out the mission and ensure dedication to any additional needs from the stakeholder. Oftentimes, stakeholders will request additional information or documentation to further prove their choice. Sharing a belief system and establishing a solid culture among these agency personnel would also increase their motivation. This deems that autonomy is important for the agency personnel in order to achieve their duties and make choices on their own behalf. The agency's plan must be responsive to the community's needs, prioritize economic recovery, and help acquire more resilient traits, as expressed by the EDA. The agency must also comply with all expectations and regulations and keep documentation that they are on track with their intentions. Oftentimes, stakeholders, again, they'll check in and want to see any other activities that they have going on, successes, and where else their funds might be going. Going forward to the importance of grant funding, grants aid in creating more resilient local communities. Without this external funding, most preventative and relief efforts cannot come to fruition for small communities on the local level. Grant funding is proven essential to local governments, both pre and post disaster. And it's very important that most local communities receive extra funding just to improve the overall wellness of the community. Just a few closing remarks to wrap this up. Applying for and receiving grant funding obviously comes with an exhaustive list of responsibilities for the Emergency Management Agency. Therefore, I believe that good sales mission mystique concepts can work as a guide for the agencies to ensure that they achieve these responsibilities and live up to the expectations of their stakeholders. Here are my references. Thank you for listening, and thanks for a great semester.